at the event challenged the graduating students to deploy the skills acquired for national development. Abdulhafiz Alaya's report is here presented.
Signals a significant leap from the maiden convocation ceremony of the university. 63 students were awarded various degrees, having been found worthy in learning and character. 16 of the graduating students bagged the first-class honor, 40 second-class upper division, and 7 others graduated with lower division of second class.
The world needs problem solvers who think critically and trust that you will deliver. This is who you are.
The convocation lecturer, who is an ex-president of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Bayo Olugbemi, encouraged the graduates to leverage crowdfunding opportunities for sustainable business development.
Know where the money and impact is flowing, because money follows ideas and values. When there are values to be earned, when people see value in what you're doing, they want to invest in you.
Like the guest speaker, the founder and chancellor of the school, Johnson Adewumi, believes the graduates have been equipped with both theoretical knowledge and skills capable of transforming Nigeria and the world for better.
Among these 65 people that have just graduated, more than 15 of them have their own businesses already, based on the skill set that they have got. So there's a lot of hope for Nigerian young men and women.
With their various degrees and other certifications from national and international bodies, including Google, the graduates are ready to impact the world.
I cannot just wait to practice what I know, because it's a lot, and I know that it's a lot that can change the world.
I'm very, very confident in God, in myself, and the training that the school has bestowed upon us.
The convocation ceremony also featured award of prizes for outstanding graduates and conferment of honorary doctorate degrees on 2 distinguished Nigerians, the first in the history of Thomas Adewumi University, Oko.
All right, this is News Extra. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we're talking housing and some other issues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to support initiatives that align with the national health agenda and expand access to modern medical technologies. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, made a pledge during the inauguration of the Tumai robotic surgery platform, established by NISA Medical Group in partnership with Robomed Global, describing the development as a giant leap for the country's healthcare system. He said the new platform places Nigeria at the forefront of technology-driven surgical care in Africa. Professor Pate noted that the robotic system is expected to usher in a new era of precision surgery, offering greater accuracy, shorter recovery periods, and improved patient outcomes. Beyond clinical benefits, he said the platform will serve as an essential training hub for current and future generations of Nigerian surgeons, building local capacity and reducing the need for medical tourism. The minister added that such innovations highlight the increasing ability of Nigeria's public and private health sectors to adopt cutting-edge solutions for the benefit of citizens.
Our vision for the transformation of our health sector, I think we're getting there. We're making progress. And I just encourage all of us to start to look inwards and see how we can encourage what we are doing here, how we can train ourselves, how we can provide those services.
And still on health, Nigeria has recorded a major breakthrough in its fight against HIV, meeting 2 of the 3 global 95-95-95 targets. This is according to the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, ahead of the 2025 World AIDS Day. Uche Ogochukwu has details.
NACA's Director General, Dr. Temitope Ilori, says Nigeria is now steadily advancing toward ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. This is as new data shows 87% of people living with HIV know their status, 98% of those diagnosed are on treatment, and 95% of those on treatment have achieved viral suppression. NACA also reports a 46% decline in new infections over the last decade, despite global funding cuts, economic pressures, and fluctuating donor supports.
And I must say that our collaboration with the civil society, with the community-led organizations, has further strengthened community systems, helping us to expand access to HIV testing, prevention and treatment services.
However, persistent stigma, dependence on external funding, high pediatric HIV cases, and underserved hard-to-reach communities remain challenges.
Bold shifts in HIV programs have been initiated with a focus on integration, sustainability, and mobilizing domestic resources to bridge the fund financing gap.
This year theme, overcoming disruptions, sustaining Nigerian HIV response, call on all of us to rethink, redefine our response, and rise above the challenges of an unstable funding landscape.
The agency is optimistic that Nigeria is close to achieving an AIDS-free generation, but appealed for sustained momentum from all quarters. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Away from health now, it's officially the orange season. And that's what inspired my outfit tonight. And trust me, you'll be seeing a whole lot of women, men, and everyone dressed in vibrant orange. The color that signals the global 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Momso Damien Data reports that the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is already glowing in bright, glamorous orange, and she'll be explaining the significance in this report.
The world may end digital-based gender violence from now and forevermore.
Orange the Wolf is the rallying cry and the 16 days of activism to end gender-based violence against women, girls, men and boys is the movement. Women's groups and stakeholders will be championing
calls to action, urging us to measure progress in lives protected, rights of health, and future restored.
Ever wondered what the orange color signifies? It symbolizes hope, a burst of brightness, almost like a sudden sneeze of light, and a future completely free of violence.
It's about the lives of the women and the girls.
This season calls together key players in the gender sector each year to reflect on progress and forge bold pathways forward.
Online accountability and the right of women and girls to participate freely and safely in digital space.
One day will shine.
Momsa Damien Lati, NTA News.
Beautiful. I expect to see you in orange tomorrow. All right, now, proper land titling and documentation could significantly reduce land disputes and the majority of related court cases in Nigeria. This was the observation of a renowned human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, in Kano, at the end of the 30th Conference of Directors of Lands from federal and state ministries, departments and agencies. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
Kano is hosting the 30th Conference of Directors of Lands from federal and state ministries, departments and agencies to exchange ideas and showcase its recent strides in land administration. Through automation and upgraded infrastructure, the state now earns higher land-related revenue, positioning Kano as a model for reform.
Immediately when the executive governor of Kano State came into power, he realized the situation of the ministry and he has the political will to change it.
Before touring facilities at the Ministry of Land and Physical Planning, resource persons, both on-site and virtual, outlined the broader benefits of the Kano model, noting its role in strengthening land governance and unlocking economic opportunities.
Majority of the cases in our courts will no longer be necessary because the title of everybody is known. Land grabbers will be a thing of the past.
The calculations we did actually gives us 1.5 quadrillion. Can you imagine what that can do in the system? How many roads, hospital?
You plan with people. When you plan with your people, they buy into whatever program you have for them. They will guide it jealously and it becomes a reality.
Land directors from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory are going back to their various states and offices, better informed and committed to implement the Nigeria Land Titling, Registration and Documentation Program in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abdullahi, for that package. And now joining us from our NTA Kano studio is the Honorable Minister of Housing, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa. Many thanks, Honorable Minister, for joining us.
Thank you.
Nigeria Land Titling Registration and Documentation Program seek to achieve.
Well, we spent 2 days discussing the Nigerian Titling Registration and Documentation Program here in Kano. The purpose of this is to ensure that when we realize that it's one of the reform initiatives of the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on land matters. And we realize that 90%, over 90% of the land in the country are entitled and remain unregistered. Only 4 to 5% of the all land in the country are registered and titled. And this is a great minus to the country if you look at what we are losing. If you look at the fact that with this only 4% is registered, that means over $300 billion has remained a debt capital. And that's the essence why we invited all the directors of lands, housing, and urban development within the country to sit down and discuss how do we upscale it. The National Land Title Registration Program is one of the programs we initiated, and it has commenced. We identified the states that are already on GIS that have started even that titling program. And these are the states we brought together and ensure that we discuss to see how they can upscale their own performance. And those that are lagging behind to ensure that they also meet up the challenge of titling and registration of their title. The most important thing which you need to look at is that any untitled and registered land is not an asset to the owner of that land. By titling it and registering it, you'll find that you use that asset that land as an asset, either as a building or to secure a mortgage or to secure a loan, or it can also be traded as a commodity, as you know. So land is a wealth creation if it is well titled and registered. That's the essence of sitting down and ensure that all land should be digitized, registries should be digitized, and also the land should be systematic. There should be systematic titling of land within the countries. And it has taken place, and we're happy that most states responded, and we want to upscale it further to ensure that we at the federal government, at the federal level, we sort of engage the state governments and guide them on how to upscale it to that level.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. A great initiative, I must say. But what's the challenge in this whole land registration, documentation, and all of that? And speak to us about how seamless the process will be for Nigerians, and of course, affordability in doing this.
Challenge is that you'll find that without the titling, the state government needs to come on board because they are the owners of land. According to the Land Use Act, they own this land. They have to ensure that they take away the analog system, the way they title their land. There is already a digitized form of doing it. We have the GIS, which is Geographic Information System. Happily, most of the states have started imbibing this GIS method to ensure that they digitize their land and there should be systematic titling. The most important thing we encourage the state is they should dedicate 1 to 3% of their annual budget, at least for the land documentation and registration program. If they can do that, they can upscale it. Many states that have upscaled it, they have seen the advantage of doing that. Like Kano State that have started, they used to have a revenue on land titling, just 50 million naira revenue to the states monthly. Now they are getting over 750 million naira monthly, due to that title and registration documentation program. So with that, you will find the states should see that as even an investment, because once you invest little, you are going to recover whatever you invested in doing that. Imagine a state that's getting 50 million, now they are getting 750 monthly as revenue on that aspect.
All right, many thanks, Honorable Minister. Because of time, we need to round off the conversation, but I'd like to find out what your ministry doing to bridge the housing gap in Nigeria.
As you quite well know that it needs a lot of funding. And that's what the federal government, we're advocating for more funding from the federal government. At the same time, we're also encouraging the public-private partnerships with the private developers, whereby government can come in and create an enabling environment to provide land, to provide access road, to provide some infrastructure in certain cases, and even ensure that there is getting construction finance for the developers to do that. This is what's most important. The other one is to ensure that we also increase affordability. We decrease affordability for Nigerians, because one of the factors that hampers access to housing is the affordability due to the low earning capacity of the citizens. I'm happy the federal government has increased the salaries, and still many people are advocating for more salaries. With the increase in salaries and the government intervention and also the PPP, I'm sure there will be access to housing that we're having. At the federal government, with the Renewed Hope initiative that the federal government is advocating, where we have the Renewed Hope cities in the 7 locations, and we have the Renewed Hope estate that we are doing in other 30 states of the Federation. We are also thinking or planning for the Renewed Hope social housing that is about to take place, to take off any moment from now.
Honorable Minister of Housing, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, for being our guest on News Extra tonight. It's indeed a pleasure. So we'll move away from our Kano studio now. Let's look at other ratios. Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, Chairman and CEO of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, extends hearty congratulations to Gozi Ijogun, founder and CEO of Task Systems Limited, on the outstanding global recognition of her Nigerian-founded technology company as a 2025 Microsoft Partner of the Year Award winner in the United States of America. Dabiri Erewa says winning a Microsoft Partner of the Year Award on American soil is a powerful testament to Nigerian brilliance, entrepreneurial spirit, and global competitiveness. Gozi Ijogun graduated from Loyola Jesuit College, Abuja, and later earned a first-class honours in computer science from the University of College, London, and thereafter obtained advanced certifications and executive training from leading global institutions. She later returned to Nigeria to subsequently lead the Task Systems team. Now, the Code of Conduct Tribunal has reassured Nigerians of its commitment to quick dispensation of justice. The chairman of the tribunal, Minasara Umar Kogo, who disclosed this at the commencement of its 2025-2026 legal year, promised to strengthen the institutional integrity through fair and efficient adjudication. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
The Code of Conduct Tribunal was established in Nigeria in 1979 during the Second Republic with the primary objective of maintaining a high standard of morality in the conduct of governance business, reflecting on the importance and challenges of the tribunal and outlining goals and objectives for the upcoming year. Minasara Omar highlighted plans to enhance the tribunal effectiveness.
I've requested for, when the act is amended, to have 36 number of judges. This 36 number of judges will be 5 for each of the geopolitical zones, and then these people will be trying the matters, because the humongous number of cases we inherited, we want to bring about change so that once these cases are decentralized, we'll be able to finish them quickly. Just like the innovation I have brought, I've started court sitting, and there is no day my court sits without finishing a case.
In the National Assembly, we are ready to make sure that we repeal all the laws that need to be amended so that they can come into law.
The Code of Conduct Tribunal is an institution for promoting accountability and good governance in Nigeria. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
As Nigeria's 2027 general election is gradually gathering momentum, there is a need for women in leadership positions to unite and mentor more women to rise and occupy more political positions and lobby state governors to implement the 35% affirmative action policy. The Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, was speaking at the Awolowo Foundation Dialogue held in Ikenne, Ogun State. Lukman Adefeso's report is here presented.
The HID Awolowo Foundation Dialogue in honor of late Yeye Odua, Anna Idowu Dideolu Awolowo, attracted women who are thriving in politics and leadership to reflect on the nation's journey 30 years after the Beijing Declaration. Speaking on the theme, Breaking Barriers or Standing Still, Nigeria Women in Politics 30 years after Beijing, the Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy noted that Nigerian women have the capacity, confidence and courage to lead.
With a growing population, I think it's important for Nigeria and really Africa to see how we can bring more women into politics, into the decision-making level, because, women see things through women's eyes, and sometimes, it is very important for us to have that participation, for women to be able to make laws.
The chairman, HID Awolowo Foundation Dialogue, and other speakers lamented that Nigerian women have continued to confront barriers in political and leadership positions even after 30 years of the landmark Beijing Declaration.
While we celebrate pioneers, progress, and pockets of successes, we must also confront the structural and cultural constraints that continue to limit women's political participation.
Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu emphasized the need to build stronger bridges for women.
Governor Umar Namadi has presented a 902 billion naira appropriation bill for the 2026 fiscal year of the Jigawa State House to the Jigawa State House of Assembly, christened the Budget of Innovation and Transformation for Greater Jigawa. The governor says the proposal is designed to consolidate the gains recorded under the 2025 fiscal plan and accelerate the state's development drive. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
According to the proposal, funding for the budget will be drawn from multiple revenue sources, with statutory allocation contributing 10.7%, VAT 11.3%, other federal transfers 24.7%, and internally generated revenue 9.9%, among others. A major feature of the proposed appropriation is its strong emphasis on development spending. Capital expenditure accounts for 77% of the total budget, while 23% is allocated to the recurrent cost. The capital component prioritizes road construction, ICT and human capital development, agricultural mechanization, renewable energy, and other key sectors aimed at accelerating growth. Additionally, about 229 billion naira has been earmarked for the 27 local government councils in the state to support grassroots development. Governor Umar Namadi says the proposed budget is not only aligned with the state's development priorities, but is also realistic in its revenue projections and expenditure framework. He urged the State House of Assembly to ensure speedy passage of the bill to enable its prompt implementation from the start of 2026.
We are confident that all the results being delivered have gone a long way to strengthen the foundation of prior initiatives, as well as to establish clear development pathways toward realizing our vision for Greater Jigawa.
The Speaker, Jigawa State House of Assembly, Haruna Ali Dangati, commended the governor for his commitments to transforming the state and building a resilient economy.
When a government implements its budget at nearly 80%, that is not just administration, that is discipline.
They are sure that this assembly will give the budget expedient consideration and passage. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTN News.
And away from Jigawa State, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has joined development partners, traditional leaders and policymakers in a call for action on creating sustainable access to energy, agriculture and public health through the adequate management of water resources. This was at the Lokoja Dialogue hosted by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Benny Adams reports.
Nigeria itself was birthed out of the confluence of two great African rivers.
Seated in here are members of Nigeria's presidency, the diplomatic community, development partners, heads of ministries, departments and agencies, alongside children, all united by water. The conversation is on the need to connect community-defined challenges to policy, partnership and investment pathways that will drive sustainable water solutions and break the cycle of climate-driven poverty.
This is renewed hope in action, where knowledge meets compassion, policy meets practice, and community meets sustainability.
The situation is very real and urgent. It's time for us to come together to share our values and to fix the broken water cycle.
Effective water management is essential for securing our power supply, lowering energy costs, and enabling continuous industrial and technological progress.
The community level action must be taken. People must be incentivized, mobilized, empowered to make their contribution.
The consensus here at the end of the conversation, talking about the Lokoja dialogues, is that the climate crisis is a water crisis, and the solution has to be local, where energy is considered, food is considered, as well as public health. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Many thanks, Benny. It's now time for another break. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. Now time to talk business. Benny.
Thank you, Yeri. The Central Bank of Nigeria has shed a new light on why it halted its long-running direct intervention programs, revealing massive financial burden left behind by years of such schemes. The Central Bank says an internal audit of its intervention programs uncovered a staggering total portfolio of 10.93 trillion naira. Out of this amount, 4.69 trillion remains outstanding and yet to be repaid.
About 2 trillion. We've been able to rein back about 2 trillion. Now, this is a humongous amount of money. So what is still outstanding really and truly ties our hands in terms of additional interventions. I think I have to make that very clear, because you go in a direction that will easily destabilize your economy, as indeed happened in the past.
Now, recent World Trade Report shows artificial intelligence can boost global trade by almost 40% by 2027. The Director General of WTO says that will happen if adoption could be equitable.
Is how can we use those aspects of AI that will be very helpful to us, because trade costs on our continent are very high. And even among us, it costs us 20% more to trade with ourselves and to trade with the outside world. Perhaps the adoption of this would help. And what we are discussing here is how can partners in the G20 partner with African countries to make AI a good thing so that there's more equitable adoption. If we do that, it will benefit everyone.
And out to the markets at this time, most of equities markets across Africa close midweek trading down, with Nigeria's all-share index down by 0.49%, falling to sustain yesterday's breather move. Market capitalization lost 444.32 billion naira to close at 91 trillion naira. And looking at the South African market as the only positive market at this time, closing by a massive 1.41%. For the Tunisia Tune Index, that has been holding up all these years because of the stocks being traded in that market and the potential it holds. Today it's down by 0.53%. We'll get to see how the week ends and getting into the last month of the year. This is it on Business at this time.
Many thanks, Benny, for the update. Efforts are underway to initiate a comprehensive national rubber policy and strategic action plan that will attract long-term private investment and support youth and women in rubber agri-business. The Minister of State for Agriculture, Aliyu Sabi Abubakar, disclosed this at a roundtable discussion on repositioning the nation's rubber industry for sustainable growth, resilience, and global competitiveness, which was organized by the Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria. Jude Abugo has details.
Once a major revenue earner for the country, many years of neglect forced Nigeria to lose its position as a leading rubber-producing country. To ensure that Nigeria benefits from the rising global demand from tire, polymers, pharmaceuticals, and emerging green technology, Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria convenes this roundtable aimed at revitalizing and unlocking the full potential of the nation's rubber value chain. Minister of State for Agriculture assured stakeholders that the president's vision is to harness the rubber sector for export revenue, rural employment, and sustainable land management.
At a time when the global economy is tilting towards sustainability, bio-based industries, and climate-smart solutions, natural rubber, especially within regenerative agroforestry system, offers a unique opportunity to align our national agricultural ambitions with global market trends and environmental priorities.
RAIN has intensified research on improved rubber cloths with higher latex outputs, early tablet maturity, and strong resistance to major diseases.
Over how many thousands and hundreds of thousands of vehicles ply our roads every day. We need to manufacture tires in Nigeria and save our forests.
In the course of the 2 days of discussions, participants will also explore rubber-based agroforestry, climate-smart farming systems, among others. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has declared that Nigeria's journey towards food security and sovereignty is non-negotiable, as the government intensifies policies on seed production and the fight against fake and substandard agricultural inputs. The Vice President's message was delivered at the 8th edition of the Seed Connect Africa Conference and exhibition underway in Abuja. Musa Babaliyu was there.
It is the 8th edition of Seed Connect Conference and Exhibition, created to raise awareness on seed production, agricultural innovation, policy and partnership across the African continent.
Seeds for African Future.
The conference seeks to promote knowledge sharing, networking, and sustainable agricultural solutions. This year's edition marks a historic milestone celebrating 50 years of seed system development in Nigeria and highlighting remarkable progress in seed production, distribution, and climate resilience.
The launch you are doing today is a very big contribution to our food security, not only in Nigeria, but also in Africa.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, represented, stated that the current administration recognizes seed as the foundation driver of national food security.
Our priorities, from stabilizing food prices and expanding domestic food production to creating jobs for our women, youths, and disabled, all share a common non-negotiable prerequisite. A reliable, efficient, and innovative system is at the center, is at the core of all our food security agenda.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security also addressed the gathering, highlighting the significant achievements recorded in Nigeria's seed industry.
Meeting domestic demand is our primary responsibility, but we must also build systems that position Nigeria to compete across Africa and in global markets.
Participants from across Africa and beyond showcase a wide variety of high-quality seeds specifically adapted to Nigeria's soil and climate conditions. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, to address agricultural financial constraints and enhance food security through structured support to farmers and agribusinesses across Nigeria, the National Agricultural Development Fund is leveraging effective collaboration. This was the consensus of speakers at a strategic stakeholders networking session in Lagos. Diana Ajali reports.
In addition to consistently supplying humans with food, serving as a means of livelihood and survival for many, the agricultural sector contributes significantly to the nation's GDP, yet it receives a minimum share of private credit and investment.
The right investments.
This stakeholders meeting is therefore aimed at bridging that gap between opportunity and actual financing.
Agriculture currently accounts for more than 30%
31 to 34% of our GDP, but how much are we putting into agriculture? Less than 5%. There is a need to do more private equity and more B-scope type investment that are of longer tenure.
Agricultural financing has historically been done in banks. It now requires capital markets, longer-term blended financing solution.
Executive Secretary, National Agricultural Development Fund, Mohammed Ibrahim, stressed the importance of data-driven decision-making, highlighting the development of an integrated digital platform to track beneficiaries, monitor projects, and align interventions with the national data system.
One of the aims and objectives of this meeting is to see how we are going to deepen investment, how private capital can flow better. What are the constraints? What are the challenges? What do we need to do?
Panelists gave insights on improving agricultural output, import and employment generation, as well as risk management.
We're a growing country with large population. We need to feed ourselves.
The event further discussed the need for innovation, technology, and evidence-based policy making to enhance agricultural productivity, sustainability, and competitiveness in the sector. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And away from agriculture now to steer Nigeria's young population towards a future driven by technology, sustainability, and economic prosperity. The federal government has launched a national electric tricycle and motorcycle empowerment initiative in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports that the initiative is a major stride towards sustainable youth empowerment and green mobility in Nigeria.
Youth unemployment and underemployment is not just peculiar to Nigeria alone, but a global challenge as the world continues to advocate for green jobs. However, this narrative is gradually changing.
Every electric tricycle on our roads is a job created, a pocket enriched, and a cubic meter of carbon spared from our atmosphere.
Now, this initiative is a deliberate step by the federal government to address the triple challenge of youth unemployment, environmental sustainability, and the rising cost of transportation. Through this initiative, government seeks to position youths at the heart of Nigeria's transition to environmentally responsible innovation and economic inclusion.
The electric tricycles will reduce transportation costs by about 40%. And they offer a cleaner alternative to tricycles powered by fossil fuels.
We are ready to support, empower, and protect the young people. What we are launching today is a way of giving priority to the youth on the streets.
Meet Justina Atabo, the first female commercial motorcycle rider in Abuja. She is a beneficiary of the initiative and has been in the business for more than 3 years.
As it is today, I'm the first Okada woman in Nyanya, Abuja here. So by the special grace of God, this empowerment has touched my life. And women like me, I urge them to come out, not to stay idle.
For the umbrella body of the Benefiting Association, with more than 18 million registered members across the country, the initiative symbolizes hope.
This is truly a new dawn of Nigerian transport sector.
To the youths, the future is electric and the time to key in is now. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Olayinka, another break is due. Don't go anywhere. There's more news. Many thanks for remaining with us. Stakeholders in Nigeria's justice sector and development partners have converged on Abuja for a national symposium to mark 10 years of the administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Francis Form reports that the event convened by the Administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee provided a platform to review a decade of reforms, identify persistent gaps, and outline strategies for the future of criminal justice administration in Nigeria.
The Administration of Criminal Justice Act at 10 Symposium brought together government functionaries, senior judges, heads of security agencies and civil society groups with the theme, reflecting on a decade of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, achievements and future directions. Discussions centered on the transformative impact of the Act in promoting speedy trials, protecting human rights, reducing delays, and strengthening justice delivery nationwide.
What is the future of Abuja? The answer, as we all know, lies in leveraging technology. The true test of the Abuja lies not only in its letter, but in its daily implementation.
The Nigerian Police Force remains committed to deepening internal reforms for full and consistent Abuja compliance.
The Act has also ensured a faster trial mechanism, that is in terms of day-to-day hearing.
We anticipate that in the years to come we'll have a more synergized criminal justice system.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, in their separate messages, underscored the groundbreaking role of the ACJA in standardizing criminal justice procedures across the country.
Justice, not merely proclaimed, but proven.
A credible, predictable, and rights complaint criminal justice system is indispensable to investor confidence.
Judges and law enforcement officers are now better guided in their duties, ensuring fairness and consistency.
As Nigeria marks 10 years of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, today's symposium sets the tune for a strengthened, data-driven, and people-centered justice system. Francis from NTA News.
In other news, communities in some parts of Katsina State have appealed for government urgent attention as gully erosion continues to ravage their homes and farmlands, posing serious threats to the socio-economic growth of the state. The residents made their appeal while speaking with correspondent Suleiman Kodogi on how the environmental challenge is gradually taking over their lands and economic fortunes.
Soil erosion has continued to pose serious threat to the environment, soil fertility, agricultural productivity, and the overall growth of the economy in Katsina State. It equally exposes most communities to challenges such as flooding, desertification, collapse of roads and bridges, as well as food insecurity, issues that often necessitate rural-urban migration. In Katsina State, gully erosion has remained a nightmare for residents, more especially farmers, forcing many to abandon their homes and farmlands.
All the places here has been eroded. Calls the government to help the people of the neighbors to construct the almost, I think, 3-kilometer road.
What causes soil erosion basically is the anthropogenic factors, that is, human activities on that environment. For instance, deforestation without replanting those trees that has been lost, poor drainage.
Climate change vanguards and environmentalists doing our job with an interfaith approach to service to humanity, because we take environment, tree planting as our sadaka to Aljari.
Our mission is to save the environment, and we have already launched tree planting campaign.
They therefore call for community participation, stronger policies and programs, massive tree planting campaigns, and sustained public enlightenment on the dangers of soil erosion and the land degradation by the government. Soil erosion in Katsina State, like every other part of the country, has become an environmental threat to sustainability and productivity, begging for urgent attention from all relevant stakeholders. Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
And from Katsina, we head to Kogi, where a political interest group, the Kogi East Elites Forum, says it remains resolute and united behind President Bola Tinubu and Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo of Kogi State, CAM 2027. Spokesperson of the forum, Abubakar Yakubu Rajab, at a media briefing, appealed to political office holders to be mindful of comments threatening the peace and unity of Nigeria and Kogi State in particular. Timothy Yusuf reports.
We are fully committed.
The only agenda at this media briefing is continuing support for Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo of Kogi State and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Members of the Kogi East Elites Forum believe that they have displayed high level of humility and responsiveness in governance. The forum distanced itself from comments about any perceived arrangement with the Kogi West to oust Governor Usman Ododo from office in 2027.
We are fully committed to supporting him as he completes his constitutionally guaranteed 8-year tenure and continues steering our state towards sustainable growth and stability.
The forum further urged the people of Kogi State to clearly know what is good for the state and the country as a whole, urging all to be wary of deceptive agents ahead of the 2027 general election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Another break beckons. Please stay with us. Now time to take a quick peep at developments outside our shores, and Gloria Agbo would lead us.
Military officers are now in charge of the nation. All borders have been sealed and state institutions suspended until further notice. Hours earlier, gunshot rang near the presidential palace in Bissau. Witnesses reported that armed men stormed the building as the crisis deepened. President Umaru Sissoco said he was being arrested inside his office and described the takeover as a coup led by the Army Chief of Staff, though he insisted no violence was committed against him personally. The announcement comes just 3 days after elections in which both leading candidates claimed victory, fueling political uncertainty. The military says it will clarify the situation before returning to constitutional order. Gunfire near the Election Commission and the palace underscored the volatility of the moment. Residents were left fearful as soldiers tightened their grip on the capital. The situation in Guinea-Bissau remains fluid. The military insists it has taken total control, but questions loom over what comes next for the country's fragile democracy. Glory Agbo, NTA News.
Now looking at other news, the heads of the African Union Chairman Observation Mission, ECOWAS Election Observation Mission, and the West African Elders Forum have expressed delight at the orderly and peaceful conclusion of the voting process for the presidential and legislative elections held on the 23rd of November 2025 in the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. They have expressed deep concern with the announcement of a coup d'etat by armed forces while the nation was waiting for announcement of the results. It regrets that this announcement came at a time when the nations had just concluded meeting with the two leading presidential candidates who assured the nation of their willingness to accept the will of the people. The bodies request the African Union and the ECOWAS to take necessary steps to restore constitutional order, as well as release the detained officials to allow the country's electoral process proceed to its conclusion. From Europe to Asia, Australia and South America, Nigerian footballers reign and stand tall. But what is the situation looking like back home in Nigeria? Now, we all know football is big business, but how is this translating to economic gains and human capital development for Nigeria? Daniel Adebrie in this report delves into the talent gap in the football world in Nigeria and how a Nigerian is turning lemons into lemonades, as captured in this bold effort to change the narrative surrounding our local leagues. This report is brought to you courtesy of Solution Journalism Initiative.
Aware that Nigeria is currently Africa's biggest export as far as football stars are concerned. And if you doubt me, well, you can check the list. However, the point is not about what is being, or who rather is being exported. It's more about those who aren't. And I'm referring to the local leagues. But while it is easy to name and shame and poke fingers, there are those who are making concerted and intentional efforts to see that the narrative around football and sports development in general is not just always in the negative, but rather much more progressive.
Meet Bumi Haruna, a sports journalist whose forte is reporting every and anything local football. But passion, Bumi says, is what drove him to take it even a step further and went on to become a coach. This, he says, was because of a vacuum he saw in proper coaching.
What I saw then, what I discovered was that all these players had natural talents. but it was obvious that they lacked coaching. There was also a statistics back then that shows that at that time, Nigeria had less than 600 certified football coaches. And at that point, Egypt, Tunisia had over 6,000, 7,000. I saw a gap that could be filled.
Going by available statistics, there are at least 1.2 million youths who seek greener pastures abroad in the sporting sector, specifically football. But the availability...
Let's join Buddy now for more sports news. Buddy.
Many thanks, Yara. Let's begin with this not so good news as Ahmedabad has pledged to lay the foundation for the next 100 years of the Commonwealth Games after the Indian city was formally named as the host of the 2030 Centenary Games on Tuesday. And of course, Ahmedabad won the approval from the Commonwealth Sport membership at the 2025 General Assembly in Glasgow. The city, also known as Ahmedabad in the western state of Gujarat, was officially ratified by the 74 Commonwealth member nations after being recommended last month by the Commonwealth Sports Evaluation Committee ahead of Abuja, Nigeria. To golf now, the Ladies Golf Association of Nigeria has entered a new phase of leadership as Lami Ahmed assumes office as the president of the association. Her inauguration marks an important transition for the organization and sets the direction for its next two-year cycle. Ahmed brings extensive administrative experience to the role, having served as the first vice president and previously as lady captain of the IBB International Golf and Country Club Abuja. Her tenure in these positions featured initiatives that expanded participation and strengthened the association's reach, particularly across northern Nigeria. Her presidency is expected to drive renewed development and, of course, reinforce organizational structures and enhance visibility for women's golf nationwide. And, of course, to a bit of update now when it comes to the UEFA Champions League. As Parfos left it late, but an own goal salvaged a 2-2 draw for them at home to Monaco in the UEFA Champions League earlier this evening, with the host twice coming from behind to deny the visitors back-to-back away wins in the competition. At the moment, Real Madrid are leading and, of course, are 4-1 against their opponents. And, of course, there are wins at the moment for now for PSG and some other teams. That's all on sports for now. Let's now return to here.
Well, thanks, Buddy, for the filler. Now, away from sports news, the death has been announced of a distinguished businessman and philanthropist, Andrew Chukwudi Okocha, at the age of 78. A statement by the family says Chief Okocha, until his demise, was a chairman and CEO of AC Okocha Group of Companies. He also served in the Nigerian Air Force, built successful businesses and contributed to his community through philanthropy and leadership, earning numerous awards and recognition. There will be a service of songs on November 27 at the Holy Family Catholic Church, Ogwachuku, Delta State, while burial and final interment will hold at 11 a.m. the next day at the same church premises and AC Okocha compound, AMCOM House, all in Delta State. Also, the death has been announced of Chief Sir Rex Chuma Onyeabo, Knight of St. Mulumba. He was aged 80. There will be a wake on the 28th of November 2025 by 5 p.m. at his country home of Warrior Community, Ogwaka, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State. Funeral mass comes up on the 29th of November 2025 by 10 a.m. at James the Greater Parish, Ogwaka, Enugu State. Reception follows immediately after interment at Community Primary School 1 and 3, Isigwe, Ogwaka. Then Thanksgiving service the next day. And that concludes News Extra tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. December is around the corner. Stay tuned to the NT. I'm Ian Region. Have a good night.